It's the Tuck and Tuck Show. Now let's welcome the hosts of Tuck and Tuck Show, Ahmad and Khalid.
Hey, Oberlin, we're back once more. We are here with the Tuck and Tuck Show, me and Khalid, my brother. How was your Thanksgiving, man?
It was pretty non-eventful. I mean, I just...
Well, you went and visit the relatives down in the big city.
That was fun. Yeah, I went to visit my niece. Not my niece. I'm so off today. Yeah. I went to visit my aunt Denise and my cousin Kadria and Darik. They were all down there, and had a great time. They served me some great food. I had some great drinks, and we had other stuff there that we won't talk about on the show. But it was all fantastic. Aunt Denise is hilarious, so I had a great time with all of them.
Yeah, she's always been hilarious. Did she make any of those sugar cookies she usually makes?
They made sugar cookies. They had dressing and greens, and they smoked a turkey. It was just, everything was...
Oh, wow.
It was very good. It was very, very good. I enjoyed myself down there. Actually, Darik brought me some bourbon. It was like $60 a bottle. It was a rabbit hole something. It was real smooth.
Rabbit hole.
Something, yeah. He's always, they had Angel Envy. Which
he always carries a bunch of bourbon with him.
Yeah, and they went to a distillery. He was dating some new lady. I never seen her before. So I think her name was Jill, he said.
Yeah, I met her.
Yeah, I never
played
met her
golf
before.
with him down there a couple times.
We'll see how that goes.
We're not going to get into his relationships on the show, man.
We'll see how that goes.
That's way too much, man.
I'm going to make him watch the show because he always like,
he'll watch it if we start talking about his relationship. I'm sure he'll watch it.
I'll get him to come on. I wanted him to come on while he was in town. He said, well, I'd have to charge you. I'm like, I'm not paying.
Charge us for what?
That's what I said. For what? He said, well, I have something. I don't know. It doesn't matter because we're not going to pay anybody to come on the show.
No, we're not paying any. No, dude. When I went down there to visit, all the money I won playing golf I had to spend on groceries, man.
Oh, for him? Oh, his house. Yeah, he doesn't have groceries. He'll definitely be calling us after the show. But yeah, I didn't do that. I had some stuff for Black Friday. I looked up. Nothing that I wanted was on sale, but Cyber Monday is tomorrow. And I seen a lot of stuff for Cyber Monday that I want to buy.
Actually, I think it starts tonight at midnight.
Yeah, probably tonight.
Yeah, since we're here on a Sunday. Again,
we're here on a Sunday.
Sunday is our regular day now.
Yeah, that's our and this is our second show for today.
Yeah, 2 shows in one night.
Yeah,
man.
and you look tired. You're working 12 hours.
I'm beat, man.
I mean, at least the Browns, they won today, which was
we already talked about that on the last
but that's a different show.
You can't bring it up again, man. We got to talk about the topics, dude. You can't talk about the same thing twice.
I guess you're right. So I'll be out of topics because I don't really watch the news or anything like that. That's other than Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Thanksgiving, and today we have on the show Heidi Freas is on the show today.
Yeah, your boss. That's your boss, right?
Yeah, Heidi.
Yeah,
Heidi she helps run Welcome Nursing Home, and she is my boss at work. And she's very nice, and she's a great boss.
Everything you always tell me, man.
Well, I mean, that's in confidence. We're not going to go there. We'll wait till she sits down, and then we'll talk to her. But she is a very kind boss. She's sitting in the green room.
The green room actually has snacks and everything today.
Yeah, man. The green room. We got cookies. We got some type of cakes. Yvonne Chisholm was on the show, and she did a fantastic job. And she brought us snacks, unlike the other sponsors we have that don't ever bring us anything. So, but she brought us some wonderful cookies and some cupcakes.
And the cookies are
they are really, really good. I really enjoyed them. Yeah. Growing up, there was only Pettifords and Gibson's.
Yeah.
Gibson's has been in business, they said, since 1888.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I know. And Watson, I think, is the second oldest down there. It's like 1894, I believe.
Yeah.
It's had different owners, but they've always kept the same name.
Gibson's probably doesn't have to really work anymore after
No, probably not.
kids winning their lawsuit from the college. I think they're pretty much settled in.
Yeah, they're still there. They're still open.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know how much business they're doing these days, but they're still open down there. I don't really, because I know people that bake. I rarely go out to buy baked goods.
Yeah.
So
we got a couple events coming up too. What was it, December 17th?
yeah, that's the Soulful Christmas.
Soulful Christmas.
And that's at Boot Center.
Yeah.
And next week we have the parade.
Yeah, December 3rd. Yeah.
I never
Downtown.
knew. Yeah, I never knew about the parade, but they said it's gonna be like a horse-drawn sleigh.
Yeah, I guess our producer's going to be on the sleigh with Santa.
Yeah, he kind of looks like an elf anyway.
He looks more like Santa to me.
Well, either the big,
That's a big elf. A big elf. I think he should just dress up as Santa.
Well, if you give him them shoes and that hat, man, he could be like an angry elf or something. He has got the elfish qualities about him. But you gotta remember, we can't say too much bad about him because he could end the show anytime he wants. So we'll be we'll be out of work because
we
don't get paid anyway.
So, all right, we're going to be back and have Heidi on as our next guest in about 1 minute or so. We'll be back with Tuck and Talk.
Hi, welcome to the art. Thank you. Have a great day. Come again.
Welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. Today's guest is brought to you by The Arb at Tappan Square.
Hey, welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show here in Oberlin. We are here with Heidi Freas, the owner, operator, director. What other titles do you have for?
So many.
It's still called Welcome Nursing Home,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it
Never
is.
changed the name.
We never did.
You didn't want to put the family name on it, and
No, when my grandparents started the facility, a lot of people called it Wessel's Home. But we talked about changing the name to include rehabilitation or something because there was a period of time when nursing homes had kind of a negative, well, they still do, connotation. Mm-hmm. And so my sisters and I, when we transitioned over into ownership, talked a lot about should we be Welcome Rehabilitation Center, Welcome something else.
yeah,
But really just decided that ultimately we really are a home where we provide good nursing care. And it just really, it didn't feel right to change it.
yeah. A lot of people don't understand that you actually do, therapy and everything else in the nursing home.
Correct.
Until they actually have to go through it and do
Right.
it. Now, my brother works for you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm there.
Works for me and with me, we'll say.
That's not what I always hear. No.
Now, the question, let's start at the beginning because
Okay.
he kind of starts in the middle. But how did the nursing home start? Because it's been in your family for a long time.
A long time. 1945 is when we opened. So my grandfather worked in a factory and he really didn't like it. And my grandmother had periodically taken people into her home to help them if their family members couldn't care for them or if they didn't have family. And so my grandfather, Henry, said to my grandma, Joy, if we're going to do this, we should do it right. I hate my job. I don't want to do this. So why don't we buy a home across town and take care of people? And so that's what they did. He wasn't a businessman. So he went to the local bank, which I don't know what it was at the time, but the bank on the corner uptown in Oberlin, and said to him, I need to learn how to keep books because I want to have a business. So the president of the bank sat down with my grandpa and taught him how to do accounting.
Wow.
And they bought a house across town, and they moved there as they were renovating it and taking the first people in until they made enough money to be able to support a caregiver to stay through the night. And once they had somebody that could stay through the night, they moved back across town. And that's so if you look on Hamilton Street, you can see the structure of the original farmhouse, which is where the
that's what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I never knew that.
Yeah. So if you're driving down and you look north on Hamilton Street, you'll see the original farmhouse, which is where we house offices now. And there were residents up very steep stairs.
Wow.
But it was a different type of population when they first started the business.
All right. Well, we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back after this.
People ask me all the time, Matthew, what's Oberlin Weekly? Well, let me show you. We have a big story coming.
Real Oberlin stories, real Oberlin people. Welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. Today's guest is brought to you by the Arb at Tappan Square.
Hey, welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. We are here with Heidi Freas from
Welcome Nursing Home. Welcome Nursing Home. Welcome Nursing Home. Now, you were telling us before we went to break that your grandfather started everything, and then your dad and your mom took over.
Yes.
So how was it growing up? Because they are like legends in the community. Your dad and mom, both of them are great people. How was it growing up with them and then your family? How was that?
I mean, honestly, Welcome has been part of my life forever. I think my first crib was really in my mom's office. She was the director of nursing, and my dad was the administrator. So my whole childhood, they ran the facility. So it was part of what we did every summer. I would work there from, I think almost every job except cooking, which is really good. Although maybe if I'd have been put in the cook, I would have learned how to cook.
How to do that too. I've been a dietitian.
But so, yeah, I mean, it was really a great childhood. I certainly never imagined that I would be back in Oberlin and running the facility. That was never a goal of mine.
Okay. Now, growing up, what did you want to do? Because it's almost like you were thrown into that.
A little bit. So I didn't really know. Well, actually, when I was really young, I wanted to be a judge. I don't know why, but I really just wanted to have that gavel and be a judge. I thought that would be cool. But when I was in high school, I watched a movie. My sister and I watched a movie called Regarding Henry. And it was a great movie. And there was Harrison Ford was the main actor, and he gets injured. And he was kind of a businessman. I can't remember the specific details, but he, as part of his rehab, became very close with this occupational therapist. And that really intrigued me. So I did some research my senior year in high school and decided I wanted to be an occupational therapist. And I went to Wittenberg on a 3-2 program, 3 years of undergraduate, 2 years of graduate school. Mm-hmm. And I moved to St. Louis and went to the Washington University School of Medicine to get my master's in occupational therapy. And I really thought I would work in pediatrics. That's kind of what I wanted. I love kids. It's a huge passion of mine to help others, and I love children. So I really thought I'd be a pediatric occupational therapist. That was my goal.
Okay. So now you go through that, and then your mom and dad, they retire.
Yes.
And then they leave you and your sister
Yep.
to run the business. How difficult was that transition?
That was really tough. So Jill, she had worked down in Dayton as an administrator down there for several years and decided after she had her first son, Drew, that if she was going to work that hard in our industry, she should come home knowing mom and dad eventually would transition out. And if she was going to work that hard, she'd work for our family. So she came back. And then when I was on my honeymoon, my mom called and said, hey, our occupational therapist is getting married and moving away.
Need one, huh?
Do you want to come and work at Welcome? at the time I was a therapist for Metro Hospital, and I loved that job. I never thought I would leave there. But they were going through a huge financial crisis at the time, and it made sense for me to come and work with Jill. At the time, there was really no plans for Mom and Dad to transition out so quickly, but the reimbursement system, which is really the driver of our business, was changing, and they gave us basically an 8-month window, and they said, if you're going to do a family transition, you need to do it now, or we would have lost out on a huge step-up value of the business. So really, my mom and dad retired way sooner than they had anticipated. So it was really quick, not only for them, but for us. And, one of the blessings of Welcome Nursing Home is that we have staff that have worked for us for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. That's not unusual. So it was a really difficult transition when Jill and I moved into that role, as, we were kind of the new kids on the block. Everybody knew us, but all of a sudden we were in the leadership role, and we had to do things differently. And so yeah, that was a challenging time. It really was.
Okay. Now you take over, everything's going pretty smooth, and then you run into COVID.
Yeah.
How difficult was that? Because I was there through COVID, and I know how difficult it was, but how difficult was it for you on a day-to-day basis?
So Jill and I worked probably from mid-February through August, nearly 7 days a week during that time frame. Our staff was phenomenal, but it was really rough. The amount of information that we were getting on a day-to-day basis. I spent most of my time reading, interpreting what the guidance was, and then trying to educate my team, because it was just new. Everything was new, and every day there were new challenges and new direction and new guidance, and so that was really hard, those first 6 to 8 months. Then it seemed like we kind of got control of things, and then we really didn't have our first outbreak until the end of 2020, which was right before we had access to the vaccination. So that was tough. That was really, really tough. And we lost a lot of long-term residents, which was really hard for my team.
How was your turnover as far as employees, nurses and staff?
So we did have, on the very front end, we had some of our nurses that had been there for 35 years retire. Just kind of, it was in their thought for the year, but it was I don't know if I want to deal with this. Yeah. I'm gonna retire and bow out now. So we had a few of our long-term staff do that, but for the most part, the team at Welcome is more like family than our employees, and they stuck it out through the worst of the worst, honestly. And they are the reason our business is still thriving right now.
All right. Well, we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back after this.
Hi, welcome to the art. Thank you. Have a great day. Come again.
Welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. Today's guest is brought to you by the Arb at Tappan Square.
All right, we're back with Heidi Freas. And the next question I have for you is, you're in Rotary Club.
Yes.
So what does Rotary do? And what does Rotary do? Because I never know.
So Rotary is an international service organization, and it was founded years ago by a gentleman named Paul Harris, who had moved to Chicago and he couldn't really connect with the business community. So he started Rotary, and the way we got the name was because they would rotate between the businesses and have meetings. So that's
Makes sense. I never knew that.
So years later, it used to be an exclusive men's club until I think the late 80s, and then they allowed women. So we get a lot more accomplished now. And
I wouldn't doubt it. I got nothing to say about that one.
But it's a wonderful organization, and there's 7 avenues of service, and it's clean water and women's health and literacy, and I'm gonna blank on the other ones, but it's worldwide. So there's I don't even know how many countries now have members, but there's over 1 million members worldwide.
Okay.
But what do you guys do for the community? You actually do things for the community,
Yeah.
right?
So locally, our club we sponsor the Community Services Food Bank. We sponsor Interact Club, which is a high school service organization. We're kind of the mothership that sponsors the high school level Interact Club, and they do all the backpack program. So we sponsor the backpack program. Those are the backpacks that get sent home with students at the end of the week so that they have food through the weekend when there's no school in session. So children that are on free and reduced lunches can apply to get a backpack every week. The Interact students fill those backpacks with funds that are streamed through our local Rotary Club. We also have a wonderful scholarship program that sponsors graduating seniors, and that's renewable scholarship. So you seniors out there, look on our website, oberlinrotary.org, and there's all the application information to fill out in order to be included in the...
I got one of those.
There you go.
It was like for $250.
Yeah, so
that's when it's a lot cheaper to go to school.
Yeah, I was going to say they're a little better these days.
Yeah.
We also sponsor a Strive program in the high school, so that is one that I'm directly involved with. It's called Students Taking a Renewed Interest in the Value of Education. Okay. And I work with high school juniors and seniors and try and hook them up with community mentors in a field that they're interested in to try and help them navigate the last 2 years of high school and how they can get into either the workforce or into college, and really just help to mentor our youth.
Right.
And that's really important. Another really fun thing that we do, and I've been involved in with that, is our Rotary Youth International Exchange Program. And right now I have living with me Daniela, and she's living with us for 4 months. She's here from Italy. She'll be here the whole school year, and she'll rotate to 3 different families, kind of the whole Rotary philosophy. Wow. She's living with us now, and she'll transition.
You had another student before that too, right?
We did. We had Ahmad. He was here from Mexico.
Right.
And that's been a really, Oberlin Rotary program sponsors that, and it's been a great asset.
Well, you really do love children, huh?
I do.
Because even you have 4 children, and I think I met Larissa was the first time I met her today.
Oh.
But I know the other 3, and I've worked with them, and they're all great kids. But you took in another kid in high school, didn't you?
Yes.
What was the story behind that? Because I've never known how that came about.
So actually, it was right after Ahmad had moved out of our house. Aaron Hopkins was at that time a sophomore in high school, and he was struggling at home, struggling at school, and his freshman year he really took my oldest son Jack under his wing. Jack played basketball for the first time ever as a freshman, and Aaron really rooted for him. Okay. And so during that process, my son wasn't shooting the basketball, and I said, if you don't shoot the basketball, I'm not buying you the soccer shoes that you want. And Aaron said, what do I have to do to get you to buy me some shoes? And I said, how are your grades? And he said, terrible. I said, get on the honor roll or the merit roll, and I'll buy you a pair of shoes. And so he finally reached out to me and said, I don't know how to get my grades up. And so I started tutoring him and working with school projects with him and helping him with studies. And basically that after Azad moved out, was in the spring, right after Azad moved out, Aaron said, can I come and stay with you? So his mom and I worked it out, and he came and lived with us to really try and get his grades turned around and get him on a right path to get him to college, which is where he is now. I'm very proud of him.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice.
Well, you're an awesome person, Heidi.
Why, thanks.
You got a lot of free time to
Tons of free time.
to run a business and do all this tutoring. And
Yeah.
man, I guess my little 12-hour shifts don't mean
Yeah,
much.
you don't do anything. The last question I had for you was, I always noticed you're doing something with the theater.
Yes.
It seems like you have a love for theater.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
what are you, I know I don't know what you're doing, but what's your next project in the theater?
So I've worked with Old Town Hall Theater in North Ridgeville for 25 years now. I've done both their youth theater and their adult theater stuff. And right now I'm working with the youth. We're getting ready to take a production of Little Mermaid Jr. to Atlanta to compete against about 100 other musical theaters around the world. They come from all over the place, and we compete and get judged and adjudicated by Broadway professionals. And then they tell us where we could improve, what we could do better.
Do you direct it, produce it? I mean,
So typically for that production alone, I will do only the choreography. So I went to school on dance scholarship. I've danced my whole life. So
Wait a second. You went to school on dance scholarship?
I did.
I never knew that.
Yes, I did ballet, tap, and jazz for 18 years before I went to college. Went and got a dance scholarship there. Worked with a lot of really cool professionals throughout my young adulthood, and then got into choreography, which I really was never a trained choreographer, but I got thrown into it, and I absolutely love it. So it's a way that I can connect theater and dance.
Who's the better dancer, you or Jill?
Ooh, that's a good one. Me, of course.
of course she's going to say her.
Well, because I always tell Molly, who we work with, I said, Molly, watch, I can go downstairs and start a cheer, because Jill was a cheerleader.
Yes, she was.
And she will finish the cheer. And
Every time.
No matter what cheer it is, I was like, N-O-T-H-I-D. She was like, that's what so-and-so means to me, nothing. And it is like, it's like a trigger with her. And I'm
absolutely.
Like, and she's, and I do it to her, but she, it's all in fun. I don't mean anything bad by it.
Jill was a beautiful dancer. All of my sisters were beautiful
Really?
dancers.
I never knew that.
My father was a tap dancer. He's who got us into
Your
dancing.
dad was really?
Yes, he was. He was a very good tap dancer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any videos?
I'm sure I do.
Really? Oh,
Maybe not videos, but I definitely have the old slides and I have pictures of him dancing.
I would have. If you,
It would be.
I would have never guessed
It
that.
would be on film anyway. It wouldn't be on video.
Well, film
Right.
video. I would have never guessed that.
So that's how I got involved with the theater, and I just love it. So my next big project that I'm going to do is Into the Woods, and that'll be an adult all ages production.
Same theater.
I'll be the assistant director. Same theater, Old Town Hall Theater in North Ridgeville.
Wow.
You have a favorite play?
Ooh. Well, first of all, I like musicals better than plays.
What do you have a favorite musical?
Actually, probably my very favorite is Aida.
I've
Which is
never
not
seen
one.
that.
It's excellent. You should listen to the music. It's beautiful.
Better than Guys and Dolls?
They all have a special place in my heart.
Really?
But yeah,
That's my favorite.
What about Sweeney Todd?
Sweeney Todd is great. They just did that production. Cleveland State just put that up.
Tommy
at
Tune.
Playhouse.
I seen Tommy
Tune's
Tune.
great.
Tommy Tune at Schubert Theater in California, man.
There's nothing better.
Best thing I ever seen. I couldn't believe their theater is so huge. Their stage is, oh my God, it's huge.
haven't. It's funny. On Broadway, you think the theaters are huge. They're really
They're
tiny.
not. Yeah.
They're so tiny.
Yeah,
So
they
to
are.
be in a big theater,
Yeah.
like we're spoiled at Playhouse. They're large theaters. In Broadway, they're like a quarter of the size. Like,
Right.
we're spoiled
Right.
here.
That's
in
why when I
Cleveland.
seen this, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is huge.
Yeah.
Because, that's why I kind of took that in college too, theater.
Did you?
Yeah, theater production. I mean, you have to if you go into radio and TV.
Okay.
It was part of it. And I was like, wow.
You were in the theater?
I did lighting.
Yeah.
And I never, I've never, like I said, this is the first time I've ever been in front of anything. People,
Right.
but yeah, It's great.
It is great.
Once you hear the audience clap, you get hooked.
Yes. And I'm really excited because Oberlin High School is putting up this year in the spring, hopefully their first musical since I am aware. I mean, I know they did some productions that had music in them.
Because we did a lot of them when I was in school.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Oberlin High School has put up a musical, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm not involved in it, but hopefully my kids will be.
Yeah, because when you were in school, they did Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't remember anything since then.
Yeah. No.
I don't. I remember they did a lot of
what was the other one we did too?
Theater nights where they would sing and dance and do like a spaghetti dinner. I remember Kevin Steen singing. That's one of the
Kevin Steen.
Yeah, I do.
Well, he probably could sing though because he sang in church all the time.
Yes, he did.
He probably could. Was very
he
good
was
singer.
very good.
Yeah, they did a little Abner when I was in school
okay.
too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Matt wrapped us up about 5 minutes ago.
I don't care.
I know.
I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
We're talking to your boss.
Right.
So.
And she always says I'm like one of the best employees in the whole building.
Matt can kick rocks. Hey, we appreciate you coming by. Good conversation.
Thank you.
I actually learned a lot. I have some stuff I got to check into now.
Awesome.
Yeah, you were great, informational, and we had a great time having you here.
Well, thanks for having me.
No problem. So,
see you next time on Tuck and Tuck.
We're not going to say about the sponsors that don't sponsor us.
And we're going to talk about Classy Cakes because she brought food for us today.
Yeah, we'd like to thank Classy Cakes by Yvonne, who supplied us with cookies and cakes. Also, the ARB at Tappan Square and Prestige Detailing.
And Oberlin Weekly.
That's it.